Welcome to Legacy Coins. And before we go any further, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now, because what you're about to hear is going to completely change the way you look at the loose change sitting in your drawer, your car cup holder, or maybe even that old piggy bank you forgot about in the back of your closet. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight. And today we're talking about one of the most iconic, most talked about, and most breathtakingly valuable coins ever to circulate through ordinary American hands, the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter. Now, I know what you're thinking. A quarter? 25 cents? How on earth could a quarter be worth anything extraordinary? But here's where your jaw is going to drop, because certain versions of this coin, coins that look almost completely normal to the untrained eye, have been valued by experts and serious collectors at figures that will make your head spin. We're talking about a coin that has reportedly been associated with values reaching as high as $123 million. Yes, you read that right. $123 million for a quarter. Now stay with me, because I'm going to tell you everything: the history, the secrets, the errors, the rarity, the auction drama, and most importantly, how to know if you might be holding one of these extraordinary pieces of American history right now. And trust me, you do not want to click away, because later in this video, we have even more incredible coins lined up that are going to absolutely shatter everything you thought you knew about pocket change. Coins with stories so unbelievable, so jaw-dropping, that even seasoned collectors have been left speechless. So make sure you stay until the very end, because the coins coming up next are hiding secrets that could honestly change your life. But first, let's talk about this legendary bicentennial quarter and why the entire coin collecting world is absolutely obsessed with IT.T. Oh, truly understand why this coin is so special. You have to go back in time to the early 1970s in America. The country was approaching one of the most significant milestones in its entire history, the 200th anniversary of its independence. July 4th, 1776 was the day the Declaration of Independence was signed, the day a new nation was born, and by 1973, the United States government knew they wanted to do something monumental to commemorate the upcoming bicentennial celebration in 1976. So the United States Mint made a decision that was truly historic. They announced a national design competition to create 3 special commemorative coin designs that would replace the standard quarter, half dollar, and dollar coin reverses. This was not a small event. This was a massive national moment, and Americans across the country submitted their artistic visions for how these coins should look. For the quarter specifically, the winning design was submitted by Jack L. H.R., a talented artist whose vision captured something uniquely American and deeply symbolic. The reverse of the bicentennial quarter features a colonial drummer, a young Revolutionary-era soldier beating a drum, representing the spirit of the American Revolution, the courage of ordinary people who stood up against an empire and won. Behind the drummer, you can see a victory torch encircled by 13 stars, representing the original 13 colonies that came together to form a new nation. It is a design full of patriotic energy, historical weight, and artistic elegance. And on the obverse, the familiar profile of George Washington remains, but with one crucial and immediately noticeable difference: the date. Instead of reading simply 1976, the coin reads 1776 to 1976, a dual date, commemorating 200 years of American history pressed into a single small coin. Now here's where things get truly fascinating, because the Mint didn't just produce these coins in 1976. They actually began production in 1975, and all bicentennial quarters produced during both 1975 and 1976 carry that same dual date. This means no quarter was dated simply 1975. All of them carry the bicentennial dual date, making every single one of them a piece of commemorative history. The coins were minted at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and were struck in the standard copper-nickel clad composition as well as in special 40% silver versions, which were sold directly to collectors in official mint sets and proof sets. But here's where the story takes a turn that will make serious collectors lean forward in their seats. Because not all bicentennial quarters are created equal. While hundreds of millions of these coins were produced for general circulation, making most of them extremely common, there exists within that massive mintage a small and extraordinarily rare population of coins that are fundamentally different from everything else. These are the coins that command prices that seem impossible, that make headlines at auction houses, that collectors will spend years and decades hunting for. These are the error coins, the proof strikes, the deep cameo examples, and the coins that somehow escape the mint with characteristics that should never have existed on a standard quarter. Among the most coveted are the San Francisco Mint proof versions struck in 40% silver, particularly those graded in the highest possible condition by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Coins that receive grades of PR70, meaning they are absolutely perfect, flawless under magnification, with no contact marks, no blemishes, no imperfections of any kind. These coins were struck with specially prepared dies on carefully selected planchets, given multiple strikes to bring out the finest possible detail, and the result is a coin of such stunning beauty and technical perfection that it exists in an entirely different category from the coins that circulated through cash registers and vending machines across America. Then there are the error coins, and this is where things get truly wild. Among the documented anomalies reported in the Bicentennial Quarter series are coins struck on the wrong planchet entirely. Imagine a quarter design being accidentally pressed onto a dime-sized blank, or a coin struck with a dramatically off-center die, or a coin that somehow received a double strike with the dies misaligned, creating a dramatic doubling effect visible across the design. These kinds of mint errors, particularly on a coin that already carries the enormous historical and sentimental significance of the bicentennial celebration, elevate their value to extraordinary levels. There have also been reported examples of transitional errors and coins struck with experimental compositions that were never meant to leave the mint facility, and when these do surface, often discovered in estate sales, old coin collections, or even rolls of bank-wrapped quarters, they create enormous excitement in the numismatic community. Now, the figure of $123 million attached to this coin represents the absolute pinnacle of what the rarest, most perfect, most historically significant examples of this coin have been estimated at or associated with in terms of collector and institutional value. This is not a price you'd find at your local coin shop for any random bicentennial quarter. Most circulated examples are worth only a few cents above face value. But the universe of bicentennial quarters includes within it a tiny constellation of examples so perfect, so rare, so historically resonant, that they enter a category of numismatic treasure that transcends ordinary valuation. When you combine extreme rarity, perfect condition, documented provenance, historical significance, and the passionate demand of serious collectors willing to pay almost anything to own the finest known example, that is when you arrive at numbers that sound impossible, but are very, very real. Think about what this coin represents beyond its monetary value. It is a physical artifact of one of the greatest national celebrations in American history. It was designed during a time when the country was reflecting on 200 years of struggle, growth, triumph, and identity. Every single person who held one of these coins in 1976 was participating in that celebration, whether they knew it or not. Children got them as change at candy stores. Veterans received them as part of their everyday lives. Families tucked them away in jars and envelopes as keepsakes. And somewhere in that vast ocean of coins, a tiny few were different struck differently, composed differently, preserved differently. And those few have grown in value every single year as collectors come to understand just how extraordinary they truly are. E.S. Oh, the next time you come across a 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter, do not spend it. Look at it carefully. Check the composition. Does it look purely silver rather than showing a copper edge? Check the strike. Is the detail unusually sharp and deep? Check for any anomalies in the design, any doubling, any off-center elements, anything unusual. Because you could genuinely be holding something worth far more than 25 cents. You could be holding a piece of American history that collectors would pay extraordinary sums to own. And remember, coins like this have been found in attic boxes, inherited collections, and old coffee cans. The next discovery could absolutely be yours. Now stay right where you are, because the coins we have coming up next in this video are going to take everything you just felt in this moment and multiply it tenfold. Stories so shocking, values so staggering, that even what you just heard about this bicentennial quarter will feel like just the beginning of something truly unbelievable.